With the book and movie, it tells a story. I think you'll know more about what he was thinking and feeling while he was being quiet. Which wasn't a lot of the time, to be honest. It's really the inner journey. His outward persona was music, but he was really a deep feeling, thinking person. Maybe that's why people perceived him as quiet. Because he was very introspective. Olivia, George Harrison's wife of 23 years, has gone through hours and hours and hours of film footage, pictures, and journals that George Harrison had kept for himself that he planned to make a movie with one day. But unfortunately, George never got the chance to do it. In 2001, after he passed away, Olivia was going to release everything to a director to make the movie. Martin Scorsese, who most of you know is a well-respected director, has taken on the project. When asked why he decided to take on this project, of course he said that he had met George quite a few times before he died. But he said, "The subject matter has never left me. The more you're in the material world, the more there is a tendency to search for serenity and a need not to be distracted by physical elements that are around you. His music is very important to me, so I was interested in the journey that he took as an artist. The film is an exploration. We don't know, we are just feeling our way through." I think George was extremely honest. One of the quotes that's in the trailer is him saying that people have said that he was the Beatle that changed the most. But then he goes on to say that that's what life is about, changing. As a big fan of George Harrison and a very talented director, I feel comfortable with Martin Scorsese directing this documentary. In fact, I'm really actually excited about it. But I was wondering, has Scorsese done any documentary before? And yes, he has. In fact, he directed in 2005 No Direction Home, Bob Dylan, documentary about Bob Dylan. So, with that said, I'm even more excited. This documentary will take on the whole of Harrison's life before the Beatles, during, and after. Olivia has had to go through so much of George's stuff. In fact, she said, "This is a deeply personal journey for me. It's been excruciating. I've been archiving for 5 years, 35 years really. Throwing cassettes and letters in drawers, little things and pieces of paper that you find that say, 'Goats on my roof.' You think, what does that mean?" So she's had to go through so much of George's stuff just to make this documentary work. And that makes me feel really, really good about this movie that's coming out. I don't think the care has been taken in regards to George Harrison when it comes to documenting his life. We've all seen John Lennon documentaries. There's so many books about Paul and John and the Beatles, and the fact that George's personal things are going into this documentary, everything that he's saved, is really something. Martin Scorsese said, "Ultimately, we are trying to have the development of his own music tell the story, if we can. In the images that he shot and Olivia shot, a lot of this is telling the story. There are some famous bits and some very interesting new material." And Olivia added, "I think it's not only about George Harrison, but how a person moves through life and deals with his own life. And it was a pretty intense life for a very young person." I got a lot of those quotes from Reuters, which did a very, very good article, which I'll link down below in the doobly-doo. There are going to be a lot of people that you might recognize in this film, including Terry Gilliam, Eric Idle, Paul McCartney himself, Ringo Starr, Eric Clapton, Yoko Ono, Tom Petty, Annie Harrison, his son, Phil Spector, Olivia, of course, George Martin, and Jeff Lynne. Beginning on October 11th, the Grammy Museum in LA will display George Harrison Living in the Material World, the movie, and on October 5th and 6th it will run on HBO as a two-parter. October 10th is the day that it will be available on DVD on Amazon for those in the UK. Lucky. You are lucky. I don't even have HBO here in the States, and so I'm just gonna have to wait for something. When I got the email from GeorgeHarrison.com about the documentary, I wasn't really sure what it was at first. So when I watched the trailer, I was in tears because it absolutely looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. I've never seen something taken with so much care and effort and put together so beautifully just for this one beautiful soul that we call George Harrison. Look. Need I say more?